The coalition of northern groups have called out Amnesty International, a global human rights watchdog, accusing the organization of compromising its own standards and acting, in their words, as hunt dogs. This bold statement was made during a press briefing held on Friday, the 30th of May, where the group raised serious concerns about Amnesty's recent reports on violence in Nigeria. Reports they claim are not only misleading but dangerously divisive. The CNG alleges that the figures cited by Amnesty are inflated and skewed to portray Christians as the primary victims while ignoring broader realities and government efforts to improve security. Now here's the full statement from the CNG's national coordinator, Comrade Jamilu Aliyu Charanchi.
It has come to our attention that there are orchestrated plans aimed at sowing discord between northern Nigerian Muslims and Christians. Amnesty International have raised red flags regarding the escalating violence in our communities. They claim that over 10,217 people have been killed in the first 2 years since the current government assumed power, with a staggering 6,896 fatalities in Benue State alone and 2,630 in Plateau State. However, we must express our deep concern regarding the lack of transparency in these figures. Amnesty International has failed to provide credible sources of these statistics, leading us to believe that they may have deliberately inflated the numbers to portray Christians as the primary victims in the ongoing crisis. It is regrettable that Amnesty International will attempt to revise historical narratives concerning the notable achievement of the federal government in combating insecurity. The current security landscape reflects significant improvements, allowing citizens to traverse routes such as Abuja to Kaduna and onward to Gusau and Katsina with a sense of safety. This progress underscores the effectiveness of governmental strategies in addressing security challenges, fostering an environment conducive to travel and economic activity. Acknowledging this success is crucial for a balanced understanding of the ongoing efforts to enhance national security and promote public confidence in governmental initiatives. It is imperative to understand that the narrative being pushed by Amnesty International is not only misleading but also dangerous. It serves to deepen the divisions between our communities at a time when we should be fostering dialogue and understanding. The coalition of northern groups believes that such misrepresentation of facts is a disservice to the truth and an affront to the dignity of all Nigerians, regardless of their religious or ethnic affiliations. Moreover, we cannot ignore the accusation leveled against certain foreign entities by a member of the U.S. Congress, who has alleged that these organizations are complicit in the creation and financing of Boko Haram and other insurgent groups. This raises serious questions about the motives behind the reports being disseminated by Amnesty International and similar organizations. Are they genuinely concerned about human rights, or are they pursuing a more insidious agenda aimed at destabilizing our nation? The crisis in Benue State, as articulated by prominent leaders such as George Akumi, has roots that extend beyond mere religious conflict. The creation of armed forest guards by former Governor Samuel Otom has exacerbated tensions, and the lingering misunderstanding between the current governor and the secretary to the government of the federation only serve to complicate matters further. In light of these developments, we urge the federal government to respond with decisiveness. This call to action underscores the perceived threat to national sovereignty and regional stability that international organizations may pose when they exceed their mandates. The CNG emphasized that the activities of Amnesty International can inadvertently undermine local governance structures and disregard the cultural and political context of African nations. Consequently, the CNG calls upon all African nations to critically evaluate the operations of such organizations within their borders. It advocates for a suspension of activities until these entities commit a respecting local context and frameworks. This approach not only seeks to safeguard national interests but also aims to foster an environment where international cooperation can thrive without compromising the autonomy and integrity of sovereign states. We call for a comprehensive review of the operations of organizations like Amnesty International in Nigeria, We believe that their continued presence and influence may do more harm than good, and we advocate for a ban on their activities within our borders. It is time for us to take a stand against the manipulation of narratives that seek to pit us against one another. We urge all Nigerians to remain vigilant and united in the face of these challenges. We must not allow external forces to dictate the terms of our coexistence. Instead, let us come together as one people, embracing our diversity while standing firm against any attempts to divide us. The Coalition of Northern Group is committed to promoting peace, understanding, and collaboration among all Nigerians, regardless of their faiths. Whether it is sponsored by politicians, international communities, or whatever, but we suspect that this report is sponsored by all of these categories you have mentioned. Because recently, I believe that you have witnessed it, that a US Congress member advocated that the issue of Boko Haram is being supported by these international organizations, which led even to the President of the United States of America to suspend organizations like USAID. So if this can happen, and America can give us this report, then why are we going to be comfortable with such kind of organizations? Then secondly, that figure is inflated. On no account, I just read a one report by the USA that Ukraine-Russia crisis is only over 12,000 people lives were lost. How can you compare a war-torn countries like Ukraine, Russia, Syria, Israel, Gaza, and with this number of people being killed just in 2 years in Benue only alone? And what we are saying is that why is it Amnesty International is so much concerned about Benue and Plateau? We all believe that Benue and Plateau are the hope of religious and ethnic crisis in Nigeria. Why would they exaggerate that number? Why would they feel that why would they bring a report that somebody will feel marginalized or intimidated or harassed? Why are they bringing a report that someone feels that, okay, I want to retaliate because a lot of my people have been killed? Because they cannot even substantiate to provide the names of those people being killed within that 2 years. If you go to Katsina, if you go to Zamfara, if you go to Kebbi, if you go to Sokoto, Maiduguri, they can provide the names. The register is there. So person from so family, from so clan have been killed. So what we are saying is that the report is internationally politically motivated. We rejected the number in totality, and we call on all Nigerians to jettison the number. We call on the federal government to watch carefully and sanction the activities of international organizations so that at least they will not come and exacerbate or erode the little peace we are enjoying in this country.